Hey friends, it's Sherman, and welcome back to another episode of Tea Time with Sherman. Welcome to the first episode of what will be the 2015 with my special guest, Alberta's next drag superstar, Tiara Manila. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are yourself?
I'm great, thank you. Now we got this lighting situation figured out.
I know. Well, I think this is better.
When you win Drag Superstar, you can be a diva and request to do lighting wherever you want. We are here at Illusion Wonder Lounge after the Sunday show. How was your holidays?
Oh, it's better. Like, I went to visit family and friends in Fort St. John, British Columbia. We drove like 7 hours.
The Filipino fish goes to northern BC.
I know. I was like a frozen tilapia.
Frozen fish from the freezer.
True.
Well, it's good. My holidays are great too as well. I spent it with the family in Red Deer, Alberta, so it's kind of hick town as well. But we're not here to talk about Christmas. We're here to talk about your drag. First, I want to ask you, how did you start doing drag?
Oh well, like I mean, when I moved here from the Philippines about like 7 years ago, I have been really
2007.
Yes.
Okay.
I have been really amazed, how the Filipino performance back home are.
Right.
Like they are on point and professional, and when they do how do you say that?
They perform?
When they perform, yes, and when they impersonate somebody.
Okay, the illusions.
Yes, the illusion of the same costume, makeup and all that shit. Oh, sorry. And all that. Yes. They do it really good. So when I moved here in Canada, I was like, why not? I mean, I have a situation back home with my family situation, right? So, my dad is a general in the Philippine Army.
Oh, wow.
And yes. And so growing up is not that easy, and there's a lot of restrictions and all that. And so yeah.
That's interesting to see, because I know this is kind of off what we talking about, but it's interesting now that you've said that, because I feel like that part of your dad being in general fits into your very perfectionist personality.
Kind of.
Both as the boy and as when you're in drag, you're very professional and very professional. Okay, I get it now. The more we learn about Tiara Manila.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So my first landing when I migrated in Canada was in Vancouver.
Okay.
And when I was there, most of my friends wanted to do drag, but they're afraid of being judged, wearing dresses and all that, and wearing makeup, looking like girls and all that. So I was kind of deprived, and when I moved here in Alberta, well, particularly in Edmonton, I met the other Fisher Queens of the Orient.
Okay.
And that's when I started to build a group.
Okay.
Yeah. So
then that moves into my next question, which is your drag evolution, and so we're gonna talk about that. And here's your drag photo, which is actually what I got from Roselle's album when you guys did the Filipino float for Pride 2012. And then here is a photo with you promoting your TM show with Tiara Masu. What has kind of changed in the drag evolution of these 2.5 years, and what have you learned in those 2.5 years?
Oh, you know what? I think we learn every day. I've been doing makeup when I was back in the Philippines.
Okay.
But it's more of how to say that, girl makeup.
Right.
So drag makeup is different. So when I on this first photo over here, I remember that costume. So the hips is still there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's very prominent. And yeah, I think it's just all about the makeup, how you accentuate everything, and all that. You learn every day and kind of apply. You learn from other queens, and yeah.
This is again not scripted, but I think it came natural. And what's great about doing this is sometimes I think things that are come natural is what queen have you learned the most from in Edmonton that you've met?
Sorry, what was that again?
What queen have you learned the most from makeup tips that way?
To be honest, I'm kind of self-taught.
Okay.
But before I met Roselle Christina, I was looking up makeup tutorial on YouTube, and I actually saw one of her tutorials.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, she looks Filipino. And when I was kind of going through the information, and it says that she's in Edmonton.
Right.
and we had this one party, which is a Halloween party.
Right.
And that was our first time in drag here. Well, for me. And that's when I met her. So we had like to do a, draw lots kind of thing, and you represent country.
Yeah.
I represented Mexico.
Okay.
And Rosa Cristina represented Canada.
Right. I remember that when I talked to her.
Yes. So it was funny. So we met that night, and then we had like a mini pageant, and then suddenly cops was knocking on our door, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And when we opened the door, they were like, "Oh, gorgeous ladies." So they were like, "Oh, just somebody complained, so you need to stop." So what we did is we went out, wearing our dresses and sashes, and we went to the club.
Oh, nice! You could say you learned a lot from your sister Roselle Christina.
And that's actually when the manager of the club, the other club, yes, came up to us and said, you girls are pretty. I could mistaken you for transitioning girls. So if you're interested, what do you wanted to perform?
Right.
And that's when we were like, oh, that's a good idea. Why not, right?
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
That's the start of the Queens of the Orient.
Yes.
Perfect. That's really great. And moving into kind of current events, 2014 was a really big year. You got married, including you wearing this beautiful wedding dress. You talk a little bit about that and how that went? Actually, especially your drag photo shoot, which is beautiful.
Thank you, Farley Foo for the photos. And it was an amazing day. We just went there. It was just for fun. This is actually the day where we had our how do you say that?
Bachelor party.
Bachelor party, yeah. Here at Evolution, the night after. So yeah, it was just for fun. I said, I'm a drag queen. Why not? Do a photo shoot of me in a dress. So technically, me and Tim went to a bridal shop.
Yeah.
And I picked a dress. Yeah, it was crazy, I know. So I picked a dress, and then I said, we're gonna do a photo shoot, and I think it's gonna be awesome. And the girls will be in drag as well.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun.
That's really cool because you had the best of both worlds. You got the boy costume, boy outfit when you got married, and then you had your wedding dress, and you took photos in a wedding dress too.
But this is not serious at all. It's just for down the road you'll see this photo and you'd be like, oh,
something fun to look back on.
I am so gorgeous. Something like that.
And you really are. Another big thing that happened for you this year, you had your winning of Alberta's Next Drag Superstar. How was that contest, and how did you think you pulled off the win?
Oh, you know what? I just did my best. Every other contestant, who are, entering a contest. Your main objective is to win. So, because what's the point of joining a contest and and putting all your effort and time and making all this costume, and you're not even thinking or even dreaming of winning. So the sad part of it is I am competing with my sister,
right,
which is Roselle Christina, and we it was a very peaceful and kind of we dealt with mature drag queens.
Yeah.
So it's just the only difficult part is we're used going to each of our houses, we live there, and at that time it's just kind of a respect. It's just something that came up, well, I know that she's making her costume, and her costume is in her living room.
Yeah.
And definitely I can't see that, or she wouldn't want me to see it that. So if I would have to say give her something or deliver something to her house, I would just call her and for her to come down and give it to her.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the whole group was not divided, but they are very supportive. It's just that they're still wishing that they were hoping that we should have not competed with each other.
Right, because then maybe someone want them to be this year, then want to be next year type thing, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Roselle Garcia, this kind of a question you already kind of answered, but talk about your guys' rivalry. because you guys are sisters and you're like in the same group, but you're kind of have like this little funny rivalry where like Roselle makes jabs at you and she's got some expense. What's that kind of like? You guys are both friends, you can poke fun of each other? What's that like?
I mean, we're used to it. I mean, like, that is actually just normal. Like, I mean, if we are like at her house or at her place or my place and we're like, just having a get together, it's even worse than that. So that is just actually like, something that we just do like, for fun. And like we're just like, men or guys in dresses, like, why not make fun of yourself? And like, and well, but I mean, the difference with the Queens of the Orient is like in my girls, like, I mean, when we do drag, we make sure that we are doing it seriously, and we wanted like, for the people or like for the spectator to take us seriously as well.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of like, dressing up all this? Makeup is expensive, drag is expensive. So if you're just planning on like, making fun of yourself, so why not just like go join a carnival or, you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Talking about, you kind of are the de facto leader of the Queens of the Orient. Was that kind of planned, or is that just kind of how things worked out?
You know what? I don't consider myself like as like a leader or something like that, because like, I may have like, formed a group, but like, I mean, all of us have, equal inputs and ideas, and we do like, whenever we like get together and do a certain number and rehearse and all that, everybody has their own inputs and like ideas, and we value each idea and put it all together. And so I guess like, that makes us work as a group, and we never had any issues about like, like somebody's like being bossy or whatever, or well, sometimes it might, it might, yes, because every person is different, right? So sometimes like you might come across as being bossy or whatever, but it's just like, you're just giving your input, and we still need to like deliver it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
I think that's great.
And I'm really proud of my girls. Like, they're amazing. Each one of us has their own talent and characteristics that I do love.
That's what I love about your house, the house of the Queen of oh my god, the Queens of the Orient, the House of Homicidal, and the Eva Girls. Each one of you has your own personality, and I love that, and I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's our favorite time of the show. Tiara Manila, are you ready?
Yes.
You ready to read, bitches?
Okay. The library is open, sure. This might be super big. Oh, this is like a jig on some handbag.
Next, your sister, Amaya King.
Okay, so Amaya King, she is very gorgeous. Sometimes she just needs to like kind of go back to the reality that people get hurt and all that. Like sometimes like she's afraid of being hurt.
Oh.
So yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Binky.
Oh, Binky. Let me see. Okay.
It's taken a little back, so she looks actually good in this picture, but it's not a close.
Binky. Binky's amazing. Older but wiser.
Right.
And she's gorgeous.
Okay.
Yeah. And she set as a good example for like stepping up and about that issue of the taxi.
Yeah. Gotta stand up for your rights, girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Next, we have Miss Lucy Lips.
Lucy Lips. She's new. And she is like I see a lot of potentials.
Okay.
They just need to like get into it.
She needs to sow her oats.
Yes, probably.
Okay.
Or kind of like maybe like sprinkle and kind of like dust it all over. Like everybody like kind of like started somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. She's on her way.
Yeah.
Miss Jessie Hannibal, the
bad
bitch.
I love this girl. I love this girl. When I competed for Alberta's Drag Superstar, she is actually one of the semi-finalists.
You
Was it semifinals or
like the
preliminary?
You know, I forget that because it was like I think her first few times performing, and like she was fierce, but she wasn't like there. But I feel like now I'm like she's there and she's fabulous. I love her.
Yeah. I love Jessie Hannibal. Like I mean, like ever since like and then after the preliminary and she was not able to make it onto the semifinals. She came up to me and she said girl, I you have my support all the way.
Yeah.
And I know that it was because I've never met her before, and I know that like if somebody says something like that that it's coming from the heart, and I know it's like it's serious, and I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. And last but not least, your sister
Tiara Manila. Well, this bitch stole my name. I don't really know who got the name first.
Oh.
I am not really sure. Because I got my name. I know we're going to get there.
Perfect. That's actually what I want to ask you. How did you get your name?
So, how I got my name is when I was in Vancouver, I am very like, I have been really wanting to do drag, but I don't have this group of people that will understand what I do and would be like your kind of like, wingman or whatever.
Yeah.
So I know this drag queens from Seattle. They're the Manila sisters.
Right.
And all of their last names are Manila because they are all Filipinos. And that is even before I knew of Manila Luzon.
Right.
But it's not her last name. That's her like first name kind of thing in drag. So and I was like, they are fierce. I've seen them perform, and I'm like, I wanted to be one of them. So, and I was like, I could be Manila too. Why not? So yeah. And besides, that's my hometown. So or my home city. So yeah, why not? Own it. Own it.
We've reached the end of Tea Time with Sherman. I don't have any more questions. But, Tiara Manila, do you have any shows you want to talk about and promote?
Oh, definitely. So we have the TM Squared, which is me and Tiara Manila. So we came up with this idea because we both share the same name, but we have the same purpose, and that is beauty with a purpose. So not just beauty, but with a purpose. We've been like active in like helping the community here in Canada or in Edmonton. So yeah, why not try and help people who are needs more help, I guess, back home. As I could remember last year, I did the same thing. Oh, sorry, my glasses.
It's fine.
So I did the same thing last year because well, of course, like we always get like strong typhoons and all that, and there are a lot of people that unfortunately get displaced and lose their loved ones, family, and their homes. So last year, I started this fundraiser.
Right.
So on my birthday, I usually would throw like kind of a lavish party.
Right.
But then I kind of thought instead of doing that, why not just send the money to those people?
Yeah.
So what I did is I saved the money. I even asked from my from my workplace for help and like people for donations and whatnot, and then I asked the girls if they wanted to do a show, and I did a birthday show, and it we came up with $700.
Nice.
$700, and then the Canadian Red Cross doubled it.
Right.
So we were able to raise $1,400 and send it to the Philippines.
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean small things like that. Why not?
Tiara Manila, drag star, superstar, and philanthropist.
Why not?
Thank you for joining me on season 2, episode 1 of Tea Time with Sherman, and I will crown you my Queen of the Week. I actually got a crown for you.
Ooh.
So it's not as big as your real one.
This is actually fancier than I got from the drag race. That's why I actually bought my own.
No way.
Yeah, I made my own sash, and I bought my own crown because I'm like, ugh, I don't think this crown deserves my head. Just kidding.
Thank you again for Tiara Manila for joining me on Tea Time, and we will see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, and thank you, Sherman. Mwah.